Alright, welcome back to another interactive novel, this time Choice of Alexandria by Kevin Gold. We're just going to jump right into it, but before we do that actually, I want to look up the stats that are going to be changing throughout the game. That way I can just kind of check to see, it's going to give me a good idea of what I need to be focusing on. So, librarian. Unknown nickname. Okay. No knowledge. Alright, so maybe this is someone we're going to play as. I'm not sure. Idealist, elitist, populist, pragmatic. Okay, so we're all set in the middle. We have no knowledge. Medicine, rhetoric, or whatever. Okay, Alexandria, which is who I thought we were going to be playing as. Strength, knowledge, respect. Egyptian, unrest. Okay. Okay, we're going to be playing in Egypt. People of Alexandria. Ptolemy the Third. Barriers the Second. Archimedes the 50%. Relationships. Oh, okay, I'm retarded. Of course. How much you'll like me? This should be a good one. It's available on iOS or on Steam. In most cases, you should be able to find the game for around $3-4. I think I bought mine in a pack. It was Kevin Gold. I got a Choice of Robots and Choice of Alexandria for about $5. So I think you can do the same on Steam. Anyway, let's return to the game with Chapter 1, The Lighthouse of Alexandria. Okay, so 245 BCE. There is a light on the horizon that outshines the stars and moon, peeking above the dark waters of the Mediterranean. It is the lighthouse of Alexandria, a bright beacon on the dark night. You remember its construction when you were young. As tall as 40 houses, they said, shaking their heads in disbelief at the hubris of Ptolemy II. But now it shines in the distance on this night, guiding your vessel closer with every swish of the rower's oars. The lighthouse is proof that anything is possible in Alexandria. Why did you decide to go to Alexandria? Okay, first choice of the game. I have always wanted to know everything. Well, that's rather pretentious of me. I can provide the education that'll make the prince a great ruler. Okay, so this one's on my teacher. I'm going there to, okay, obviously, educate the prince. I miss my old friend Archimedes. We built some amazing things together. I plan to manipulate the royal family until they are dead. What the fuck? Okay, now, how much is this really gonna change? I wonder if this will change any of this. Now, we're probably the librarian. I would think. It must be us, because what we know, yes, we could definitely become an elitist in the situation. So this is going to definitely change the tone for the entire game. I kind of want to go. I'm going to scratch this out. It sounds kind of boring. We're not there. We don't care about the prince. We don't want to make him a great ruler. Why? We go there to learn everything? No. I miss my old friend. No. We have planned to manipulate and kill the royal family. And I'm going to rule Alexandria, and that's why. That's why I've come here. When Ptolemy III summoned you, he never realized he was summoning a devil. You have heard that Ptolemy III and his wife, Berenice, are somewhat poor judges of character. They already have at least one leech attached to them, a social climber named Soshi, something who has managed to transcend his low birth just by sucking up and doing odd jobs. Apparently, Ptolemy III puts great faith in mathematics, or mathematicians such as yourself, and he still consults the now ancient Euclid, who advised his father and grandfather as well. Well, shit, that guy's about to be fucking dead. I guess I should say this. I'm gonna butcher a lot of these names. Yeah, forgive me. Alright, so, when Ptolemy III offered to make you the unborn prince's future tutor, you thought about these propositions and what you could deduce from them, and you formed a plan. You will take the advantage of the trust of Ptolemy III, put in his scholars, and you will teach Ptolemy the fourth. But in teaching the young prince, you'll make him just a little soft. He won't want to think hard about things. He'll ask you what to do. Oh yes, you'll build up his trust too. You'll make him trust you even more than his parents. Next step, get rid of the parents. Maybe you can convince Ptolemy fourth to off them. Maybe you'll build your own skill in medicine to poison them, or maybe some other schemer will do the dirty work for you. When Ptolemy the Fourth ascends the throne, you will be the person he trusts most, and he will do whatever you say. Once he has a child, he will name you regnant, and you will finally have no more use for him at all. Okay. This might be like protector of the child, I'm not sure. But your plan will take a long time to come to fruition. So for now, you will play the loyal scholar, doing scholarly things around the library until a prince is born. I am definitely the librarian. Okay. As you look out on the ocean, a gaunt, bearded man wearing a fine purple chiton comes to join you at the ship's prow. He gives you a tight, disdainful smile. You are the one who will be the young Ptolemy's tutor, correct? You nod. That's me. And you are Sosibus, he says with a scoff, as if you should have known better. He looks you up and down. Aren't you a little young to be the prince's tutor? I don't believe my age is relevant. Oh, relevant. You turn and gaze again at the lighthouse in the distance, hoping this annoying man might get the hint and leave. Sisyphus says, as he looks out in the sea. But you are young for someone with such an illustrious post. Ptolemy III was tutored by head librarian Apollonius, and even then, he was much older than you are now. I'm not certain why you're telling me this, you say. You should simply understand that you cannot expect much advancement yet, Sisyphus says. So, when someone like myself, a man of no particular advantages or talents, is offering a position of power ahead of you, remember that I have at least been working a long time for it. If I become the prince's caretaker, do not attempt to deny me this influence that is my due. And what will you do with that influence? Okay, another choice. I'll stay out of your way. The prince deserves to have true friends. Are you ready to be one? The prince can be our joint creation. What do you say? It is I who will win power in this court. I suggest you stay out of my way. Okay, so this guy obviously has kind of the same ideas as we do. He realizes that tutoring or taking care of the prince is going to build trust with him, which is going to help us in the long run whenever he eventually takes power. However, this guy could totally be loyal, right? We don't want to just basically give away the fact that we're going to usurp the throne eventually. So these last two, I'm going to throw them out the window. We have to be more sneaky about it. This one, I mean, it would kind of throw us off his scent. I like this. What will you do with that influence? Now, I don't want to be that submissive. As of now. But we'll see. Looks like the relationships have already changed. They all went down a little bit, besides for Nefertari. I'm butchering that, I know I am. Okay, so what will you do with that influence, sir? All I ask is a fine lifestyle, taking part in the riches of the treasury, Sabata says. Surely that is not too much to ask. Okay. Yeah, buddy, I'll stay out of your way. Excellent. Sebastus looks behind him and whispers, The queen comes. Remember, she thinks highly of me. So you will do well to treat me with respect. Respect? Fine. On the surface, you'll be gracious to Sebastus. But you came to Alexandria with a plan. Build influence with the prince until he trusts you utterly. Then orchestrate his parents' deaths and take control of Alexandria. If Sebastus has the same plan, then he must die as well. But these plans of yours will take years. So you will play the loyal subject for now. Greetings, both of you. Queen Bernice II joins you at the scholar's prow. Despite her regal title, Barris prefers to dress like an athlete. Her tunic doesn't even cover her knees. Such a chiton? Okay, would have been scandalous in Syria. But you've heard women dress and act more like men in Alexandria. Barrice's muscular build and with a bronze dagger tucked into her belt suggests that she can protect herself just fine without a bodyguard, and indeed, she has none on this trip. As your queen back in Ceres, Brius has gained a somewhat fearsome reputation, including a rumor that she killed her previous husband, Detrimedes the Fair. Ironic. But now the people of Alexandria talk about their queen's legendary romance with Ptolemy III. You hear that in Alexandria, they love insisted of fear. Okay. Let's backtrack onto the sentence. You hear in Alexandria, they love instead of feared her. Okay, yeah, obviously. They love instead of feared her. That's instead. Okay? The 20-odd oarsmen are from Zered. However, they carefully avert their glance or gaze from the queen to avoid drawing her attention. I see you two are getting to know each other, Bree says lightly. My companion has remarkable wit. I can tell already, Zwasa says, bowing low to you in a way you are sure he would have not done minutes ago. But I lack a name for this fine sage. Ah. Time to choose a name. Sophia, female. Okay, are we a boy or a girl? What the holy hell is this? Eratosthenes. I'm choosing something I can pronounce. What's our name? We are Oliver. Oh, fuck. Oliver. Okay. Call me Oliver, me boy. Oliver, is that right? Yes, that's correct. Oliver. Well, I'm very pleased to make your acquaintance, Tabasta says again in all absent-quillencies. I butchered that as well. Is that what you like to be called? Brice asked with a polite smile. Well, I do have a nickname, you say. My friends call me. Beta. Because I'm always second best at everything. Oh, fuck no. Hell no. Alpha, boys. Zeus, because I can create thunder and lightning with my inventions. Okay. Apollo, because I've always come to me for advice. Plato, since I ran my own academy back home. Prometheus, since I tend to get a little trouble when I spread knowledge. By my real name, though, because my unflattering nickname had to do with now, I've dissected with how had to do with how I dissected. Okay, cadavers. Fuck no. Well, actually, Beta is off the table because you know I'm not a Beta. I'm Oliver. I'm gonna take over Alexandria, right? Oh, Beta could not take over Alexandria. Apollo, they always came to me for advice. This is good. This will work out with my whole building trust and killing these people. This lady I'm gonna have to kill. Apollo, huh? Sibius says dubiously. Brice gives you a skeptical look, drawing your attention to the fact that her eyebrows have been shaved and replaced by koi, in the Egyptian style. Your friends must think very highly of you. Unless you're the only person who calls yourself that, Cepessus adds with a grin. No, even Archimedes calls me that, you say. And he's not the one for nicknames. Brice looks surprised. Archimedes, the inventor. You know him? We were students at the museum at the same time. Mauseum. You nod in the direction of the lighthouse. In between classes, we would run off together to watch the lighthouse being built. Brice follows your glance to the lighthouse and smiles in some private memory. What do you think of my husband's lighthouse? A granary for the Egyptians would have been a better plan. Yeah, fuck your husband. Listen, he doesn't know shit, alright? No, I'm eager to perform some measurements from the top. I want to test an hypothesis. And like Alexandria itself, it's a beacon of hope in the dark world. Ah, hell yeah, let's do this one. Sabasas rolls his eyes, but he smiles. I think so too, she says. The lighthouse doesn't just guide ships, it guides people, beckoning the best and the brightest, it says. Here we work wonders. Your conversation with Brice is interrupted by a terrifying yell from the rear of the vessel. 2 Egyptians, 1 man and 1 woman, have crawled over the side and boarded the vessel next to the helmsman. You look around for the pirate ship, but you only see a tremere darkly lurking on the horizon behind the boat. They must have used a smaller dinghy, low to the water, to make the approach undetected. Pirates, Brice says, drawing her dagger. Stay back, Apollo and Sebastus. Gladly, Sebastus says. he flees below decks. Yeah, okay, I think I was giving this man the wrong voice. Sebastus looks kind of like the coward type, actually. A flatterer. For some reason, I thought he was a warrior. I don't know what gave me that idea. The two pirates draw their curved swords, and the woman makes an aggressive gesture towards the helmsman. The old Greek sailor gets to the point and backs away from the giant steering oar. We're just here for your cargo, the woman says. Stay right where you are, we'll be gone soon enough. The oarsmen look uneasily at each other and give some kind of collective shrug. I happen to have installed some anti-pirate traps on the ship. With my rhetoric skills, I convinced the oarsmen to stand up to the pirates. Brace can fight them. I'll stand ready if she is entered. Okay, let's look at these stats right here. Okay, so we've already made some considerable changes. For one, Archimedes still doesn't like me, but Reese and Ptolemy like me more from what I've done. I'm an idealist, and looks like my best chance here is with rhetoric. So I'm gonna go with the whole rhetoric thing, because it looks like I'm not gonna be able to build anything with. My traps are definitely gonna fail, and I think medicine is what is medicine. Yeah, I'll stand ready if she's under to heal her. No, rhetoric. I'll convince the oarsmen to stand up. You have underestimated the crew of this vessel, you tell the pirates. They are not slaves, but have chosen to serve the captain. They are Greeks of honor who shall never run away from a fight in which they outnumber their attackers. All you men of honor, stand with me now. Roughly half the oarsmen stand immediately, follow belittlingly the other half. Thankfully, none of them seem to mind that you stand behind them all on the opposite end of the boat. I suggest you find easier pickings, you tell the pirates. The pirates visibly hesitate, and it's enough of an opening for the two closest oarsmen to rush the Egyptians and push them over the side of the boat. The man drops his Kiof sword, which an oarsman picks up and then brandishes with triumph. The cheer goes up all around. Well done, Breeze says. I admit I'm impressed. Yeah, fuck yeah, boys. We're telling them our rhetoric. Did it go up? Hell yeah. 5. Dude, I'm gonna convince the fuck out of some people. You don't need to build anything when you can just tell someone to make it for you. You may have taken care of the initial boarding party where the pirate ship is drawing even nearer to your ship. Archers gather on the rails of the enemy Tremere, drawing their bows and waiting for the vessel to close in. You notice a pirate crew is a mix of men and women, Egyptians and Greeks. At the back of the Tremere, an Egyptian woman wearing a large gold leaf headdress appears to be in command. Her following the white robe and the long top smear mimic a dress of an Egyptian princess, while her headdress reminds you of the old pharaohs. She lifts herself and staff to give a full speed ahead motion. That's Nefari, Bernie says, the so-called pirate queen Nefari. A hero to downtrodden Egyptians and a menace to Greek merchants, she turns to you. I'm more of an athlete than a diplomat. Do you think you can talk these pirates into working for Alexandria? We can give them free rein to attack ships that aren't ours in exchange for a small share of their plunder. Won't they just shoot us if we try to get close, you say? Nefari hasn't been known to recognize a black flag of parley when he says, I don't think that she would anger my husband by killing me. Or you. At worst, we'd be ransomed. She seems remarkably unfazed by this unnerving possibility. You consider for a moment whether you're good enough at rhetoric to convince the pirates to work for Alexandria. Says I'm knowledgeable. Doesn't seem like the time. Let's test some weapons I've invented instead. No. Yes, let's raise the flag. Let's race them. Our men may get hurt, but we'll help their injuries later. Okay. Obviously, dude, I got this. Listen. I got this, okay? You raise the black flag, indicating to the other ship that you wish to parley. The enemy archers keep their bows knocked as the other ship draws closer, but they do not let their arrows fly. Finally, the large enemy ship along your smaller vessel with a plank and a large spike comes down to your ship, linking the two. Pirates strike a torch. You can see now Nefari is wearing all kinds of jewelry and glints in the torchlight. A golden torque about her neck, golden circuit, and assorted rings. You wish to discuss something? Nefari says. Speak. We offer an alliance between your two nations, you say. You're a small nation of the sea, and the great Alexandria. I'm listening, Nefari says. You proceed to describe Nefari's tiny pirate fleet in a flowery term as possible, as an aquatic nation beloved by Poseidon. If peace would have been achieved between the Egyptians of the land and Alexandria and those of the sea ruled by Nefari, the gods of all people would rejoice. Nefari laughs. Ah, you are a charming one, you scholarly nobody. I could not think you serious, except Bernice herself stands beside you. And she did not silence your caltrap. Oliver speaks with my authority, and the offer is genuine, Bernice says. Come, our nations have been at war too long. Nation, Nefari speaks with delight. You flatter me, but if you promise to speak of me to your people with such glowing terms, I can hardly refuse. You broker a deal with Nefari then and there, wherein Nefari is made an official privateer of Alexandria. The terms of the deal include a special clause for the collection of books. Nefari must sell books only to the Great Library, and in exchange, the Queen agrees to pay the fixed fee no matter what the book. You think this could ultimately turn out quite well for the Great Library. You just hope you haven't gotten this Nefari woman, delusionist of grandeur. Okay, so she likes me. Girl likes me more. I'm checking the stats a lot because it's interesting to see how exactly my decisions are affecting me. And I didn't realize that this Pirate Queen lady is going to play a major role in the game as she's in the stats. So, we'll see where that goes. The next morning, your ship docks at Alexandria. The harbor behind the lighthouse is busy with ships. Alexandria is a trade center for the whole Mediterranean. Shipments of grain from the fertile Nile Delta stop at this port before delivery to the cities that were once united under Alexander. As the sole supplier of papyrus, Alexandria also does regular trade with centers of learning the world over. Many ships also stop in Alexandria because they must use the canal connecting the Nile to the Red Sea. As a result, exotic goods from the Far East, as India and China, find their way to Alexandrian markets. The usually still and deep waters of the Alexandrian harbor can support truly giant ships. On the wharf, an honor guard awaits you and Bernice to escort you both to the palace. Their copper helmets and shields reflect the bright sun overhead, leaving an afterimage. If you look too long, you were surprised Bernice had no such guard on the vessel, but perhaps Ptolemy's reach extends only so far. I shall see you both around the palace, Sabasa says. Farewell. What do you say to Bernice when Sabasa departs? I try to explain that Sabasa's plans to manipulate the unborn prince. I directly imply that she should be on her guard against Sabastis. I say nothing about Sabastis, but chat about our mutual hometown of Suri instead. Okay, so here's the deal. I want her to trust me. It's important, because I'm going to kill her later. So, we don't want to say he's going to manipulate your child. We don't want her thinking about manipulation. Also, that can get her onto our scent. Oh crap, people are manipulating my children. Wait a minute, you could be doing this as well. Now, so that's not an option. These last two ones are what we're going to focus on. I can imply directly that she should be on her guard against him. Now it's going to separate me and him. But it also might make me look, I'm just trying to get ahead of things. I feel like if I talk about our hometown, she'll like me more. So, that's what we'll do. Okay, let me just look immediately. Nothing changed. Okay. You change the subject to your mutual hometown of Suri, where Bree grew up a princess. Though you intend to try to find common ground, Bernice, you find that your experiences in Suri are very different. You were poor while she was wealthy, and you spent all your time in the library while she spent all her time on horseback. You think you liked your hometown more than she did. She speaks of escaping Suri when she married Ptolemy. Does it bother you that Serena is no longer independent? Bernice asked. You must have been very young when my father seceded from Alexandria. As a Sicilian, how do you feel about marrying Ptolemy and reuniting the two kingdoms? Okay. I am yet to think myself an Alexandrian. I admit I don't particularly care when cities change hands. I'm excited to be part of the Alexandrian Empire now, obviously. Good, she says with a satisfied nod. Right answer. Oh, I think she likes it even more now. Okay. Nice. You and Baris and the honor god proceed towards a palace down a broad avenue lined by great colonnades. What the hell? Colonnades. Bustling with people. Greeks, Egyptians, Nubians, and even some Persians, Gauls, and the Chinese. You find the mathematical precision of the streets, perfect right angles, appealing. Every other city you know is a chaotic tangle of streets. The vendors in the street sell a huge variety of goods. One vendor sells olives, dates, spices, local fruits and vegetables, bread and salt. A butcher sells beef, goat, mutton, chicken, and even crocodile and ostrich, or so he claims. An Egyptian vendor sells a huge variety of perfumes and oils. An art dealer sells printed urns and pots, panel paintings, and painted marble sculptures. Goldsmiths, blacksmiths, and tinsmiths have their own row of stalls, noisy with hammering. Fashions for sale include the traditional Greek chichons or himata, shorter tunics more fit for Egyptian, Roman togas, which were like chichons but simply draped instead of fastened. How crude. And even saris, the other guard from the eastern lands. Anything that you may desire can be had for a price in Alexandria. Your eye is drawn to the exotic first, but as you take in more of the city, you see that it is not so dissimilar to your hometown of Syria. Like Syria, Alexandria is a Greek city, and the faces in the windows of the houses you pass are Greek. Dark and often curly hair, olive skin, and dressed mostly in conservative long chichons, despite the heat of the summer. But there are hints that these Greeks have become more different from their peers in the Athens. There are more women in the streets, suggesting their greater freedom. Both men and women wear chichons that are draped just over one shoulder instead of two, possibly because of the heat, though the women still preserve their modesty through their careful use of pins. The cuts for both genders are above the knee, which would have been scandalous on a woman back home. The women wear more makeup than the women back in Syria. Many of the Greek women you pass have dark rings of kohl around their eyes. They are somewhat surprised to see Greeks entering the Egyptian temple of Isis. You heard the Egyptian mysticism was popular with some Greeks, but you would not see it firsthand. You also see Egyptians on the street wearing palanquins and running messages. Though not so dark as the Nubians, their skin is dark enough that they would have not been mistaken. Could not be mistaking them for Greek. Some wear Greek chichons and hamadas, but some continue to wear the traditional garb, a simple linen wrap around the waist of men and a dark dress with straps for women. The Egyptian women wear heavy makeup, and the men often shave their heads. You've heard that most of the Egyptians live in the slum of the western part of the city where the old Egyptian village of the Rakans once stood. You wonder how they feel about their conquest of Alexander now. Whether the added prosperity can make up for the subjugation. Probably not. Tension with the Egyptians aside, Alexandria has always struck you as remarkable and full of promise. It's hard to believe that such a huge metropolis was founded less than 100 years ago. Had Alexander the Great envisioned just how popular the city would have become, and his workers drew the outlines of its wide, straight boulevards and flower along the ground, when birds came to eat the flour, Alexandria's soothsayer claimed it was a sign that Alexandria would feed the world. Whether prophecy or astute analysis, this is certainly coming to pass. But had the soothsayer Alexander ever foreseen the city would have become Alexander's final resting place, or that his death would have come at such an early age? Did Alexander's clever general Ptolemy know how valuable the city was when he decided to hold up in Alexandria and let the rest of Alexander's former generals fight over the rest of the empire? What do you think? Patrice asks as the honor guard leads you to his palace. Oh, I've been here before, you say, when I've studied the Monasteum, but I've always loved Alexandria. Varus grins at your answer. Alright, why? Okay. It's the beginning of a great empire. This is the center of knowledge in the world. This is the one place in the world where people of all nations seem to get along. Trying to think about how much this will really change it and how advantageous this is for me to bend one way or another. Now, this seems more on character. It's the beginning of a great empire, yes, as I plan to murder the person I'm speaking to, usurp their throne by convincing their children that I am more trustworthy than they are themselves. All seems so dark. But this can make our life be more. But it's the beginning of the great empire. We have to do it. It's more in character. Great empire. Perhaps, Bree says, but even the great Alexandria's empire fell to pieces without its leader to sustain it. We are one of those pieces, and we don't forget that we could even fall under further in stature. That is why it's so important that you turn to my son when he is born. Bree stops for a moment, forcing the honor guard to stop as well. Listen, this is important, she tells you. Once my son is born, your opinions will no longer be idle and shatter. He must learn from you to be a good ruler, whether you favor the elites or the populace, whether you are an idealist or pragmatic. He may come to mirror the opinions of his tutor. So choose wisely. So that's why this matters so much. Basically, he's going to decide how the boy's going to end up. Hope I will teach him to think independent enough to have a mind of his own. If he hangs on every word, I will be pleasantly surprised. I will. This is suspicious as fuck, but we're doing it, boys. If he hangs on my every word, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Bree sighs. True, I imagine him an obedient son, but he could well ignore much of what either of us says. Nothing's changed. He doesn't seem to like me any less. Egyptians are a little bit more of unrest somehow, somewhat. You continue with Brees and your guard at the palace. The giant marble building with columns in the Greek style is supporting the portizo with an elaborate frieze. Coming closer, you see that the frieze depicts some kind of elaborate story involving Egyptians and Greeks, gods founding the city. It seems early to create such myths, with a city less than 100 years old, but so be it. You walk through the large courtyard, between pools stocked with exotic fish. What do you think of the palace? When wealth creates beauty and knowledge, I approve. Okay? The wealth that built this place could have been used to feed the poor. Honestly, I'm thinking about math and I'm trouble paying attention to my surroundings. One day, this will all be mine. Okay, so I know I've been like a little bit in character to like, listen guys, if he hangs on my every word, I will be immensely satisfied. But we can't be telling the person we plan to kill, one day this will all be mine. You know what I mean? That's too straightforward. That is straight up, that would fuck us, okay? That's retarded. This choice is actually monkey. Right here. This would probably be elitist, right? Not populist. Yeah, it's probably elitist. Your boy knows his stuff. So we're more elitist now. You have no problem with a society that creates wonders. You enter the palace through giant copper doors 3 times the height of a human being. A marvel of engineering. Inside you find Ptolemy III seated in his golden throne, an empty golden throne beside him. Alright, we're back. Sorry, someone came to the door. I had to see what was going on. Alright. So, inside you find Ptolemy III seated on his golden throne, an empty golden throne beside him. Ptolemy is a lean, strong-looking king, and he wears golden laurel wealth and an indigo shishun. I really need to figure out how to pronounce this. Remarkably simple for such a powerful man. The thrones are flanked by 2 passive royal guards bearing spears and shields. When he sees Brees, Ptolemy III breaks into a wide smile and gets up from his throne. Brees, he opens his arms, and Brees runs to him. They embrace, and he whirls her around as if she were no weight at all. Thank you for coming, Oliver. Ptolemy III says, as the two monarchs take their seats, my guards will see that your possessions reach the right place. You mentioned in your letter that I could name anything and you would do it. If I agreed to be your unborn son's tutor, you say. Yes, Ptolemy says, what is it you wish? I accept on the condition that you provide a stipend for the Archimedes. Stipend for Archimedes come visit. Okay, do I want Archimedes to come see what's up? I accept on the condition that you make it very clear to your son that my word is law. I accept on the condition that I get plenty of time and resources for my own studies. I accept on the condition that you change the laws that treat Egyptians unequally. Okay. Dude. I plan on killing this guy. I gotta have his son knowing what's up. So, we're gonna be like, hey man, listen, tell your son what the fuck's up. My word is definitely law. Get a drink of water, hold on. Alright. Pardon that. My word is law. He must ultimately take orders from me, Ptolemy says, suddenly suspicious. Of course you say. I would never question your authority. Only undermine it. In my head. Very well, it will be done, Ptolemy says. The guard will show you to your quarters. Welcome to Alexandria. Shit. Okay. Doesn't look too bad as of now. Well, there we go. That's the end of chapter 1. That was rather quick, probably 20 minutes or so. More like 30. Chapter 2, The Prince of Progress will be coming out soon. So, Choice of Alexandria so far seems pretty interesting. I still need to figure out how to pronounce some things. Probably won't get to that. There's probably mispronounced the entire time. You'll have to forgive me for that one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed back to these listenings. I'm going to start rolling out a bunch of these Choice of games. I have a couple of them I like. We got Choice of Robots coming up soon. And then I also have Pentadragon Rising. And, I mean, these games they're fun. And if you play them yourself, your outcome's going to be different than what I come up with. So even if you're watching me or listening to me play a game, you can get it yourself. And your playthrough is going to be different to varying degrees depending on how well the game's written. And you don't have to necessarily spend money. I know for a fact that there are 2 free trials for Choice of Games. Not really a free trial per se, but free games that are much, much shorter in length. I think it's Choice of Dragon, and then Choice of Pirates, something like that. Or some ship captain one. I played them both. The Dragon one's really, really short. It gives you a taste of what these games are all about, though, and they're both fairly well written. The boat one, I really can't remember for the life of me, but if you look it up and you see a free game and it does like a boat on it, you know what I'm talking about. That one is very well written, and I actually really enjoyed that one. I'm probably not gonna play these ones on the channel, but they are free, so you go check them out on your iPhone or on Steam or whatever the hell you get your shit from. So, yeah, once again, Chapter 2, The Prince of Progress, coming up pretty soon. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. I'll see you later.